All
All
right,
right.
gobble, gobble. We are live. Gobble, gobble, my friends. It is Thanksgiving Day. You know what that means? We have football. We have World Cup. We have college basketball. We have college football. We got, I don't know what else the hell we can bet on. Anything else today to bet on, Dan?
Is there hockey today? I think there's some. I think there's some. Oh no, there's not. I think hockey's tomorrow. I think hockey and the NBA are tomorrow. So we got NFL, college football, college basketball, Little Cup. If you want to go down some crazy other leagues, you can start betting some other crazy soccer. But yeah, so we still got a shitload to bet on today, man. It's a good day. It's a good day.
It is a good day. All right, so normally what I like to do is have a little appetizer before the NFL games. Just looking at the slate for today in college basketball, we get a Wisconsin, Kansas at 11 a.m. We know Kansas, Wisconsin's 4-0, by the way.
Yep, they are.
That line's 7.5 for a little 11 o'clock action. Any interest in that one, Dan? Today?
Yeah, I played a little bit of under in this game. They went under. I think the under yesterday opened like around 124. I played 123.5. That one ended with like 86-ish points. Yeah, I think the under opened, the total opened around 132-ish on this game. I played a little bit of under here. It looks like it's down to 128. I think that's probably about the maximum for me in terms of the side. I probably wouldn't play anything more than that, to be perfectly honest with you. But what I'll say is we talked about this a couple years ago, right? NBA games on Christmas, the under trend has pretty much died. But the thing that had not died as of, a couple years, in the last few years, was college unders early in the morning on Christmas. I don't have the data on Thanksgiving, but I can't imagine it's too different. So I would look maybe at some college unders. We got Tennessee, USC at 130, Stanford, Mississippi at 130. So we got some early games today, Joe. I think Florida State, Siena is the other early game. That the total there is 141. So I mean, yeah, look, I think looking at some of these unders, not the worst thing to do, because I don't think that has been a major trend in the market.
Only thing I will say is Kansas has won every game, but they don't cover well. They covered as a dog against Duke, but generally have not covered as a big favorite. We will see Duke later today against Oregon State. UConn's at Oregon, and UConn a slight favorite. I know Oregon's a little down this year. And then tonight, late night, is Alabama, Michigan State, which is a good one because Alabama's undefeated.
Yeah, they are. So I mean that's a very good one. I took Louisville to cover against them the other day. I took a break after that just because everything I was posting on Twitter seemed to be coming up crap, while the other stuff seemed to be coming up roses. So took a little bit of a break, but obviously back today we're going to give out some picks. There are some spots I would look to fade, Joe. Obviously, some teams who played last night, if they played today, I would look to fade. So Kansas to me could be a spot that I don't really like. So let's start with an early bell here. Give me Wisconsin plus 7.5 this morning against 5-0 Kansas. PP early play there. Look, this is a game that, first off, Wisconsin's been extremely underrated. They continue to have incredible perimeter defense, and I do think Kansas is going to push them. But with both of these teams should be on a little bit of tired legs from yesterday. I do think the under is a decent play, and I think Wisconsin's going to be able to keep this within the number. It is a bigger number. It does scare me a little bit, but I think that this game is going to come down maybe 3-4 point game really near the end. So I think Wisconsin could be in for a good one today. And then maybe I'd look at potentially, a couple other spots on the board. We'll talk to them. But Joe, do you have anything?
So I'm actually looking in college football later tonight.
Okay.
And of course, you can interact with us here. Somebody already said, ring the bell. Happy Thanksgiving to the Bankroll Boys. So we got that.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that.
Oliveira, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you. So I don't know how to get rid of those, but we will learn. We will learn soon how to put those away. Hide. Okay, cool. Yeah, here we go. So
Good job.
college basketball, I don't have much, Dan. I was looking at that Northeast, like can Northeastern get off the Schneid today against Manhattan?
Okay.
I bet you some people are driving up for that one today. You know,
I don't know about that. That game is in London, Joe.
that's true. They're driving right up for it. Driving right up. I'm looking at college football. It's the Egg Bowl. It's Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ole Miss lost last week to Arkansas, which was bad. But they're 5-1 at home, and there's a lot of Lane Kiffin stuff, like the Auburn stuff leaked this week. He kind of trolled a reporter who tried to break the story. So I think Lane Kiffin's all in for this game. Mississippi State, on the other hand, Dan, has been good. Will Rogers has played well. They're 7-4, but they have yet to win a game on the road. It's a rivalry game, Dan, and I already see the number at 2.5. I thought the Lane Kiffin stuff would maybe be a distraction, but I don't think he let it be. I just think Ole Miss is the better team, so I'm going to lay it. It's a favorite on Thanksgiving. And again, I just want to say that on the road, Ole Miss, Mississippi State has struggled. So I'm going to ring the bell. Give me Dart, Kiffin, and Ole Miss.
Hold on here, because the number has moved significantly from where you just quoted it.
I see. What is it now? 2.5?
No, this is now 1.5 across the board. It's down, and you okay? So PP, you're taking the 1.5.
I'm taking Ole Miss, baby.
Okay, PP. So I'm going to tend to disagree with this. And I was on. I really liked Ole Miss on the podcast. If you guys listen to the college football podcast we did on Monday, I said I liked Ole Miss on the spot. I thought 3 was a ridiculous number, but I think there is going to be some distractions from what's going on here. When your coach is basically put out there to kind of leave, and he basically says, "Oh, I'm not leaving," but it's very clear that report did not come out of nowhere. I'd be very surprised if players were all in on this game today, with the way that, first off, it is a rivalry game, but there's nothing really to play for at this point, right? They're not winning the SEC at this point, so that's kind of tough. Your coach feels like he's 1 foot out the door, right? There's got to be some sort of repercussion from that. He's making fun of reporters' karma. There's a few things here that concern me about Ole Miss today. And I agree, Mississippi State, horrible roadside. They have been a garbage road team all year. You take a look and you break down that game. I think they have 1 road victory this year. And it was at Arizona early in the year. They've lost to LSU. They lost to Kentucky in a game that really wasn't that competitive. They got blown out by Bama. They have only been on the road 4 times, but the fact is, the 3 games that they played against competitive teams, they got their ass kicked. And so it is a little bit of a concern backing Mississippi State. And I'm not going to do it at 1.5. At 3, though, it feels like, Joe, this could be an upset. With the way everything is going with the coach, I don't know, man. I just feel, between the karma with Kiffin and the fact that I cannot imagine that these guys have their head on straight today. I think this is going to be a real issue for them. Just my personal opinion. I would have been on Ole Miss prior to this. I would have been on the Ole Miss train, the Lane train, but with the reports coming out and the way he's acting right now, I just feel like there's going to be some players who are saying, what the fuck's going on? Exactly why are we playing? What are we playing for today? Outside of some pride. And I do think that, to me, that's a concern.
Well, and they haven't won yet. Will Rogers and that class has yet to beat Ole Miss. They lost last year to a beat up Matt Corral. Yeah, I was thinking that early in the week. Will even Lane Kiffin make it to the game? He is. So now that he is here, I'm riding them. I think they are the better team. Dart Rogers is going to be a good one. We'll be able to watch this one before the Patriots game, or at least the first half on that one. But I'm rolling Ole Miss, man.
Okay.
I like them all year. It's more of and I know what Mike Leach has done. He's kind of turned that team around. I'm rolling with Ole Miss.
Okay.
Is there a World Cup today, Dan?
There is World Cup. There's 2 games that have already finished. Switzerland beat Cameroon 1-0 in the morning. Uruguay tied South Korea 0-0. Frustrating game for Uruguay backers, me being one myself. They really needed this game to kind of get out of the group, so it is a little bit frustrating there. Before we head to the World Cup, Joe, can I throw it back to college basketball for a
Yeah, what
minute
do you
here?
got?
Let me. I'm going to take Dayton -3 today. PT. So this is a team that first off lost by 1 to Wisconsin yesterday, and a little bit of frustration to me, or sorry, a little bit of frustration for them. Again, Wisconsin has elite perimeter defense. They just don't score, but they make you score in all sorts of different ways, and they struggled, to do that yesterday. Lost by 1, 43-42 in a game that it was really, I mean, if you watched it, it was awful. It was a terrible game. I watched like maybe 20 minutes of it, but the defense was absolutely phenomenal. And now they're facing NC State, who is off maybe their biggest game of the year so far. They lose to Kansas by 6 in a game that really they played well second half. They came back a little bit. They made Kansas fight through that game, and Kansas, in that game, I felt struggled a little bit, which is my big concern about taking them today, I guess, or fading them today, is that Kansas kind of pushed through their issues yesterday. But I do think that in that game, right? I do think that in that game you're looking at, I think that this is a tough spot for Kansas to go face NC State team who gave them everything yesterday. They didn't cover, as you previously mentioned, and then now they have to go back and face a team that is, on perimeter. And NC State coming off a game that it was close. I mean, this was not a blowout by any means. I think they were leading a good portion of this game. Especially early on. It was close in the end of the half. Kansas pulled away a little bit, but second half they made it a game again. And this is to me, I think an NC State game or an NC State team that is just due for a letdown coming off that game yesterday. It's just not a good spot. Dayton, really probably has a better chance of getting things going offensively today. And I just don't like the spot for NC State coming off that Kansas game where they were undefeated going into that game. So to me, this is a really good spot to get some Dayton basketball, lay the 3, and that's exactly what I'm going to be playing today. You got -7.5 and Dayton -3 as my 2 early morning plays. I guess not so early morning, but either way, my 2 plays. I think the Dayton game tips off at 4 o'clock today, so that's what I will be on early, Joe.
All right. I got a couple of college basketball plays off the bat, and then later tonight you got a college football one. The World Cup's coming up, so today's the day you get to see Portugal and Brazil.
Yep.
Not play each other, but we get to see both of those teams go out at 11 and 2 o'clock. So Portugal's a big favorite, Dan, -290. I have more of an interest in how many goals they'll score. So total goals in the game right now, over 1.5 is -450. Holy smokes. So what's the total right now on this game?
So I'll take a look. As of last night, it was what we call 2.25, which is, again, if you don't understand, or sorry, I think 2.25. I do think that has ticked up from this morning. Obviously, it looks like, I may have been incorrect. I may have been confusing the Uruguay game. I think that was 2.25. So it looks like Ghana, Portugal right now, 2.5, -130s is that mid-range area of where the total is. So look, this is a normal standard 2.5. That's what most, again, if you're talking about the large majority of soccer games, that's what, most of these are going to be lined at 2.5, maybe a little bit above 2.75 if you don't understand 2.75 or 2.25 or any 1.25 or whatever. Obviously, it's called Asian soccer betting. Glad to explain it to you. DM me if you have any questions. Even today, I will be responding if you have any questions. But yeah, it looks like this market really is starting to settle around the 120, 125 area. I think Penny's shooting a -120 in the over in this game. I'm honestly not super interested in playing anything in this game. I'm really interested to see what the distraction of Cristiano Ronaldo's mutual release from Manchester United, how that affects Portugal, how that affects the team in general today. I do believe that is going to ultimately be a distraction there, Joe. So I don't have anything in that game. I will say Brazil-Serbia, 2 o'clock Eastern today. I do have something in that game if you're interested to talk about that. But I will tell you that, This one has kind of come down a little bit. The total got up to 3 yesterday. I believe it was 3 across market, and now we're kind of on the way back down at 2.5, which I thought was interesting because I really did not expect the market to go this way. But we're now at 2.5 minus 128 over 2.5 in Brazil Serbia, and that was going to be a play that I was certainly interested in today. I have not seen lineups or some. I woke up a little bit late today, so I've not got to check lineups or what I was going to look out there for. But if that's the case, there might be some lineup news, kind of basically the drop from 3 to 2.5 on the line move there. So to me, that's something that's concerning. I have not done my research on this game this morning, so I will not be giving out a bet. But that's where I leaned last night initially, was the over 3. Honestly, in Brazil, I was going to play it a little bit of plus money, maybe plus 110, plus 120. But as of right now, that will not be the case based upon where the line move is going. And again, I have not done my research on this game this morning, so I can tell you I'm just not ready for to give out a play on that one.
So I'm interested in Brazil. So on the regulation only line, they're minus 252 to win in regulation. That's a lot of juice. But to get them at -1, Dan, that means they have to win by obviously more than 1 goal. It's minus 140. So if they win 1-0, you push. If they win 2-0, you win. Is that vig of an extra $30? Isn't that worth it to like Brazil to advance, move on, and in regulation?
I mean, again, it depends on what you feel about the game. Depends on how you cap the game. Look, Serbia is going to be a little bit more physical on them. Brazil is a World Cup team, probably with the most attacking talent in the tournament. They're a team that has an incredible amount of speed, but they're facing a team today that is going to be physical with them, and that has been a bugaboo for Brazil in the past, 5, 6, 7 years. Even going back further than that, is when they get out, when they get kind of beat up, they tend to cower. Now, this Brazil team recently, that has not been the trend. But this is a Serbia team that, first off, has a lot of attacking talent. They have Vlahovic from Juventus. If you know him, obviously, Arsenal fans know all about this guy. He's a piece of shit to us, but he's a big guy, very strong, physical, unbelievable goal scorer. Luka Jovic, he's from Fiorentina. He played at Real Madrid for a little while, didn't do much over there, went back to Fiorentina. And then Alexander Mitrovic, who was unbelievable in the championship last year, now in the Prem. And again, this guy is unbelievable. So again, they have some real goal-scoring talent, which is one of the things where you're kind of extremely surprised, where they are, I guess, in my opinion. So in terms of the goal scoring talent, but they're physical. I mean, this is a physical team. The midfield is physical between Milinkovic Savic, who's unbelievable for Lazio. They have a lot. Dusan Tadic, who is an unbelievable midfielder for Ajax. I mean, this is a team that is not, a lot of these players aren't super well known. No major names, no Cristiano Ronaldos or anything like that. But it's a very strong team. A bunch of players from, a lot of Italian players, a lot of guys playing in that league, which is a little bit interesting because that league tend to be a softer league. But nonetheless, this is just, this is a really, really good physical Serbian team. I'm surprised. I would be surprised if they don't score a goal today. I really would. That's kind of the way that I would lean in this game. Is I was personally leaning, looking at the Serbia team total in this one, because I do think that they are going to play Brazil be a little bit physical, and I think that is a concern, which is kind of why I like the over again in that game. I think over a half for Serbia is in the minus 130 range. Obviously, I haven't taken that yet, but that's kind of where I was looking in that game, Joe, just because of the physicality of the Serbian national team. They're really strong up front. They're pretty strong in the midfield. The defense, definitely leaves something to be desired. But yeah, so my concern about taking Brazil in a regulation game is that this is the type of team that they absolutely struggle against. And if you take a look at the rest of their group, it's just not the case. They're just, this is going to be a group, a group that, really favors Brazil. But I think this match could be a bit of a surprise for them because of the physicality of Serbia.
Well, just take away if you don't know anything about soccer, Brazil's the heavy favorite.
Yep.
They playing a physical team that might weigh them down a little bit or get them off their finesse game because they are a finesse team.
Definitely.
It could slow them down. That's why the over at minus 140 is there for you. But it could be 2-0 Brazil in a slog too. But that's why I'm looking at that -1, Dan. I think Brazil win. If this thing goes to a draw, there's going to be an uproar. I lean the 140 -1. That's what I'm leaning right now. I'm in the mood of giving, Dan, because it's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And I'm fading Brazil at some point. I'm going against them.
I think that this is the type of team that personally I would fade against Brazil, or fade Brazil against a physical team who hurts them up front. But I actually already played them minus 1.75 against Cameroon, because when I saw the match draw, when I saw the draw, Joe, I said Serbia might be a team that Brazil struggles with. And then they're going to get a team in Cameroon who is pure speed. Brazil's going to be able to, really play with that team and dominate them from a physicality and talent standpoint. So that's kind of why I played that maybe like a week or so ago. So I'm interested to see, are you going to play Brazil -1 today?
You know what, Dan? It's Thanksgiving, man. I feel you though. I'd rather take -1 than over 2.5.
Fair enough. I understand why. I understand your reasoning on that. I do think there probably is some lineup news in regards to either Serbia or Brazil, which is why this line is taking. I honestly haven't looked at the line move for Brazil, but I can tell you this: they were down to below 200 on the money line as of last night. I think they were 196. They're back up to around 208 a penny, which is to me more of the fair price. So. Yeah, I mean, look, they're still very much a valued team to win this game, Joe.
The only thing I will say is Serbia has been pretty good in international competition. They beat Portugal a year ago. In what is it that the UFA World Cup, whatever there.
Well, just look what they did in the Nations League, which is the big tournament before this, and they played Norway, who has two of the most talented players in the world between Martin Odegaard and Erling Haaland, and they beat them 2-0, shut them out. They beat Sweden 4-1. They beat Sweden 1-0. Back in June. They did tie Slovenia in a game that, again, those two teams are pretty much rivals, but they were able to play Norway, who beat them earlier in that Nations League. They kind of came in and beat them, and then they had a tune-up match against Bahrain and destroyed them as well. Again, they're just a team to me that's being truly undervalued in the tournament because they don't have a star player. You mentioned that Portugal game. It was about a year ago. I think maybe a little bit over a year. I just think it's hard to quantify that. Things from March and last year, it's hard to quantify where a team is, especially when a lot of those guys are not going to be playing in the national team. So, but don't get me wrong. This is a good Serbia team. They're still impressive, and what they did recently, and especially in the last couple of months, they really picked it up. And I thought this was a team that is going to give some not so physical teams problems in the tournament.
I'm gonna lay off the PP, but I like Brazil to win.
Yep.
Dan, I think I see a 2-1 win for Brazil is what I see.
Okay. Let's move to the NFL. I'm sure people are tired of us talking about the World Cup.
Get to the picks. Where are your picks? Just give us your picks. Hey man, these appetizers before games, we gotta get some of these out of the way. All right, so forget about the Lions' history on Thanksgiving. Dude, we can throw those stats in front of you all day long. The thing is, the Lions have won 3 in a row, and they've been a covering machine. In 20 games, Dan, I believe they're 13-7 against the spread their last 20 games. So since Dan Campbell's taken over.
Yep.
So they cover a ton of spreads. Is it 9 right now?
9.5 across the board. Yeah.
When I see a big line like this for a team that's been hot and at home, generally I feel the favorite on that side. There is this and then that's where I bring up the Thanksgiving Day stuff. They have been favored. The last time they were an underdog after winning, I think, 3 in a row, dude? It's been like, I want to say it's been like 15 years because they've been that bad. Long and short of it, Dan, I think Buffalo, it's tight early on, and I think Buffalo runs away with it second half and wins by double digits.
That might be my dog. No, relax. Relax. My dogs are crying. My wife.
Thanksgiving,
left.
Dude. It's like they're smelling the day,
My wife left to get some things. My dogs are literally howling for her because they miss her already. Yeah, even though I'm upstairs. Ridiculous. So yeah. Oh no, she took one dog outside and the other one is very upset. Luna, you can come up here. So yeah, she's very upset.
It's a holiday. They want to be in on the action.
Oh, I know. She has to take them on different walks because they're different ages. Okay. Anyways, getting back to the game. So first off, I like Buffalo with the 9.5 here. I laid the 9. I don't think it makes a really too much of a difference. I will say it's pretty interesting that 9.5, 10 region has been holding very strong. When there have been 10s, the Sharps have gone in there and taken them pretty quickly on the Detroit side. So that has been the resistance. I made the game 8 to me. So I do think I'm playing a little bit overvalued Buffalo side, but this is a Buffalo team I thought last week was absolutely dynamite. I bet them last week too. And I still think that they're, in that situation. I did bet Buffalo a little bit at 9, but the play that I really like today, Joe, I really like the under 54.5 in this game. PP. So here's the thing. First off, I certainly understand everyone's thoughts on the total and why it's so high, right? Again, I think Circa opened this 52.5. Westgate opened at 51.5. 54 to me was a tipping point, and 54.5. Again, we're talking about not key numbers, but still somewhat important numbers up there. To me, 54.5 is a pretty important number in my opinion. And I completely disagree with, kind of everything going on here. This is a number to me, and honestly, may hit 55. I don't think there's much difference between 54.5 and 55, but to me, this is a game where I just take a look at this. I just think that this is a silly number to me. Early day, Thanksgiving, short week. The Lions are coming off a big upset win over the Giants. The Bills coming off a lot of travel, a lot of stuff going on in their league, right? Or going on in their lives right now. And offensively, I do think the Bills are dynamite right now. I like Gabriel Davis to have a big day. I think he's going to have a big one. But this is the type of game where I think the Detroit Lions do struggle. And I know they've covered these games at a ridiculous and historic rate. But I do think that this very much could be a game where I think they struggle a little bit. I do. This is the type of game where if I'm Detroit, offensively, I think I'm going to struggle a little bit against what the Lions do, or against what the Bills do defensively. I think they're going to be able to stack that line, kind of stop Jamal Williams, who really has been the guy for them. And I expect the Lions be behind late, throw a lot of passes, a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe look at some overplays for him, small catches, there for him, or possibly, maybe some over completions or attempts for Goff, because I think that is a real possibility. But I just think this game is, probably more of a 25, 15 type game, 17 type game. I do think that, the Bills, maybe the Lions got a backdoor cover there, but I really think this is a game that isn't going to be a crazy high scoring game. I think the Bills will put up their points, but I think it's going to be one of those more defensive Detroit Lion games that we've seen recently. And I'm just the total to me, especially on the opener, 52.5. That's exactly where I made the game, and now we're going up to 54.5. To me, that was a key number to absolutely get. I thought, really this is a play that I absolutely have to take. I get it. If you like either side, I'm leaning Buffalo with the number at 9.5. There are some Detroit 10s popping up in the market right now, so you'll probably be able to get those before kickoff. But that's kind of the way I would go in this game. Joe?
All right. So yesterday, I took, Dan, you like unders and player props? I took under 248 Jared Goff yards. Okay. I put $50 on it. If anybody really wants to know how much I put on it, 55. I know it was 62 to win 50. Yeah. No, yeah, 55. Yeah, whatever it was. It's moved down today. Right now on DraftKings, 247.5. It's gone down a whole yard. I'm going under. I think Jared Goff is going to hand the ball off, keep it in Swift. You mentioned Brown and these guys. They need to not get into a shootout. So I agree with your analysis of slow podge, keep it under, keep yourself in the game. The Lions run the ball so well that they shouldn't throw it up 250 yards. Going under, ring the bell, Jared Goff. I have it at 248. Right now it's on DraftKings, 247.5.
Okay. There you go. 247.5 pass yards for Jared Goff. Yeah, I understand the thought process. I do not disagree. My only concern is if the Lions are behind late, will they throw the ball? And that's usually where a lot of these unders go to die late in the games. Is those the late game pass yards to me. Could be the only deciding factor there. But yeah, I like that game. Let's move on to the 4:30, Joe. I don't know if you have a play in this game all week. I'll tell you for me, I really like what Dallas did last week. Right, I thought Dallas was phenomenal last week. I love that spot for them. This spot feels. First off, it feels like a bad spot for Dallas. I'll just be the first one to say it. And I know the Giants are going to be a big public dog today. But what are your thoughts on this game? I like the Giants here. I do, even at 10. Remember, this number opened relatively low. I think it opened 6.5 at Westgate, 9 at Circa. It's just gone up. A lot of sharp money continues to come in on Dallas. What are your thoughts on this one, Joe?
Agree. Giants were looking ahead last week. It was on the Lions. Giants are looking ahead. They got Dallas. Now, all the way back to the summer, Dan, when we did the breakdown of each conference, each division, one of the things were Dallas and how they've dominated their conference. The East, they dominate. So yeah, history will tell you the Giants are 2-9 their last 11 against the Cowboys, and they're 1-5 their last 5 in Dallas. That's with Daniel Jones. So they struggle. The line's too heavy. This should be a 4.5. Dan, I don't know what you said. I think it should be a 4.5, 5.5 line. 9 seems like a lot to me.
Whoa, you're 4.5, 5.5. You're off four. You're off 5.5 points in this game.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Wow, that's a lot.
I don't think this should be a 9-point advantage for Dallas at all.
It's 10. It's 10.
Hey, that's too much. I mean, what was the opening? What was the opener? 7.5, 8?
So yeah, so it's actually 10.5 now in market. Westgate has open 6.5, Circa open 9.
What am I missing here? Like Dallas gets at the quarterback. There's no doubt about it. They get at the quarterback. Is it like a Saquon Bar? Because dude, do you know Daniel Jones' numbers on the road? They're very, very good. They're way better than they are at home. I don't know, man. I know Dallas can get at the quarterback. And when Dak Prescott's right, he can do really whatever he wants. And I think Pollard has an advantage catching balls out of the backfield like we saw last week against the Vikings. I just think in a divisional game, if I can get 9, 10, 10.5 points, I'm going to take that side.
Yeah, I really like, I really did like the Giants coming in today, and I still kind of do. That would definitely be the side I would lean. There does appear to be, first off, the sharp side is 1 billion %. The Dallas Cowboys, without a doubt. They are the sharper side in this matchup. For whatever reason, I could not tell you. I disagree with the number. I do, and I think that's just being open and honest about it. I disagree with the number. I made this game 9. Now we're at 10.5. It feels like I almost have to play the 10.5, right? Like it feels like that's something I almost absolutely have to play, but it's just there does feel like there's something maybe we're missing in this game. Maybe Barkley is really banged up. I don't know. I like the opener a little bit more than I like where it is now. But I am concerned about the move. I am definitely concerned about the move. I know a bunch of people who are on the Cowboys this week. I think it's a bad spot for them personally. I'd be betting Giants there. if it was me. So that's the way that I would personally say. But unfortunately, that's not my decision. So I'm going to pass on this game completely. I do like the under in this game. That would be the way that I would look in this one as well. Another under in this game, but I'm going to pass on this game completely, and I'm going to focus more on the early game, the late game.
So Dan, if and we'll get into the Patriots Vikings in a minute here, but the Thanksgiving motto is that favorites dominate. Just over the last 25 years, favorites of 7 points or more on Thanksgiving are 24-2. So the Bills obviously almost a double-digit favorite, and now Dallas is double. That's dominated. In over 25 years, it's dominated.
Yeah.
I just don't feel that way. And I think this year has been different overall, man, like in general. But I think I mentioned this yesterday, but divisional unders have been hot. And you know that the Cowboys have been worse than the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The Cowboys their last 11 Thanksgivings, they covered one game. Think of that.
Yep.
In 11 Thanksgivings, they've covered one game. They're 5-8 against the spread. So they've lost 5 straight first halves would be another one I'd look at. The Cowboys have struggled out of the gate. And Dak Prescott on Thanksgiving, this will be his 6th one, Dan. He's 1-4 against the spread on Thanksgiving. I just think that this is the Giants side, but it's a public side, and I hate that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a public side. No doubt about that. I don't care as much about that, to be perfectly frank with you. I'm more interested in why my numbers have I guess a big enough discrepancy to go the other way, and what is it exactly that I'm missing. So yeah, look, I'm passing on this game completely. So
all right, so Patriots Vikings. My take on it is it was 1, it's gone to 3. It's now down to 2.5. It's pretty hard 2.5.
Well, hold on. Let's be fair. This one opened 3.5 here. Let's open 3.5. Yep.
And the look ahead when the schedule came out was 1. Pats were dogs at 1.
Yeah.
Now it's 3.5. So that's a 2.5 point line movement from when it opened, from way back when. Obviously, we saw the Patriots last week, and we saw what the Vikings were. Dan, I don't think the Vikings are a good defense. I do think that Justin Jefferson has turf toe and has been ineffective, and they're one of the worst offensive lines in football. I still know they have Dalvin Cook. I still know they have Hockenson, and I think that Kirk Cousins, no matter what anybody thinks, is a mid-tier quarterback, and the Patriots have struggled against mid-tier quarterbacks or even better quarterbacks all year. This is a fate. Do I think the Patriots can win this game? Absolutely. But Dan, I've watched so much. Maybe they were holding things back last week. I don't know. I think that there's going to be some line problems for the Patriots today. I really do. I'm going Vikings 2.5. It's not a hater move. Do I think the Patriots can win? Yes, I do. I do. And are the Vikings an overrated 8-2 team? They probably are. And their defense is overrated, and their offensive line is god awful, and they're without Darisaw today. So there's a lot of things that favor the Patriots where if they want it, they can take it. Dude, it's just about the offense, man. The defense has been so good. But how does that defense play against a mid-tier quarterback? That's why I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah. So are you PPing them?
Yeah, we'll PP it. Why not?
You're PPing the 2.5? Okay.
I suck at every Patriots game this year anyways, so I might as well fade them on a holiday.
Okay. PP, there you go. Vikings minus 2.5. Yeah, look, I took the Vikings minus 2.5 the other day. That's minus 115, by the way, Joe. But yeah, look, I agree with the side. I have Pats 3.5 from last week, and I have some Vikings 2.5. To me, the one in this game, I'm going over the total. I'm going give me the PP over 42. So look, I do think that the Patriots have struggled offensively. I think there's no doubt about that. There's no excuses. They've struggled offensively. They have. But first off, this is a game where I think Minnesota is going to have to score, right? If they don't score, the Pats are going to win this game. Simply play. Minnesota last week, absolute embarrassment, 3 points against Dallas. This is a great rebound spot for them. Short week, at home. It is. I do think the Patriots are going to be tough, though. This is not going to be an easy game with a rollover upgrade spot. This is not a great spot, to face the Patriots in. They did not do well offensively against the Jets. Sure, they won the game, but it was a divisional game, a battle, a tough, a grind. Last week for Minnesota, not at all. They just got their ass whooped, and they get to go back on the field 4 days later, and they get to kind of put on a good product. I do think that Justin Jefferson will be better. I'm sure he is definitely banged up. Who isn't at this point in the season? So I kind of like them to bounce back there. I do think the Patriots' biggest issue has been run defense. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be able to run on them a little bit, as you kind of mentioned. And I do think the Patriots are going to give up some points, especially with how well that defense played on Sunday. I expect them to, kind of let down a little bit here 4 days later in a tough physical game against Minnesota, where I think Minnesota is going to want to bounce back. And I like the, and that's kind of like this game. I think this could be a 3-point game. But I think the Patriots are going to score here. I do. I think that Minnesota defensively is one of the most overrated teams in the NFL. I have watched Minnesota very closely this year because I was wrong about them from the start. I did not expect them to be this good. Straight up taking an L, was wrong about them. But I will say this, Joe. At the same time, I also think that they have been very lucky. Again, another team that I think is one of those luckier teams in the NFL. We've seen the luck go the way, kind of fade away from the Giants, from the Jets. And now I think we could be seeing that fade away from the Vikings, especially last week. Their defense got exposed. What they do, they got exposed last week. And I do think the Patriots can do some of those things. Run the ball, play action. And I do think Ramondre Stevenson's going to have a big game for the Patriots to be successful today. I do think that, Minnesota is going to have struggle covering downfield. And I do think that Mac actually might have some time to throw the fucking football today, which would be a first. And I just think that this is going to be a game where both these teams score a little bit. This is not going to be an under game. This is going to be a game where I really think that there's going to be some people who put up some points in this game. Now, again, the number opened a little bit higher. It opened 42.5. It's down to 42. So, the market disagrees with me a little bit, but I think this is a higher scoring game. So I'm going with it. I do. I think the Patriots cannot live on scoring one touchdown from special teams. I know that you think that this offense runs better with Bailey Zappi, Joe. I heard the post-game comments. I will just tell you again, I disagree. You can't run a fucking college offense in the NFL. We saw what happened in the Bears in the second half. You just can't do it. And I think Minnesota, I actually think this would be a good game for Bailey Zappi. I think Zappi would be able to do well in this game.
Did you see the by the way, did you see the odds? Of all the quarterbacks today, they have Mac Jones slightly ahead of Bailey Zappi. So like for all these fantasy football, like daily fantasy stuff, like is there like something we haven't heard that Bailey Zappi could play?
No.
I don't even know why. That's what I'm trying to say, Dan.
No,
in New England, the Bailey Zappi stuff's dead. Like it's Mac Jones or nothing. I just don't understand why he's up next.
Well, because Jones. I think if you look at the 6 quarterbacks today, Jones would be the most likely to get benched. Right? I think Daniel Jones is getting benched. Prescott's not getting benched. Cousins not getting benched. Goff and Allen, none of those guys are getting benched. So Mac Jones is the most likely guy to get benched. I think that's and I think that's a fair and a reasonable take there. I think that's So to me, Zappi, and by the way, I think Zappi is the best backup. I think he's better than Cooper Rush. I think Dallas got away with a lot offensively early on. And I think Cooper Rush got exposed later in the year. And I think Zappi against a defense like Minnesota, I think college principles could work because I don't think this Minnesota defense is very good. But when they face a college defense, or when they face an NFL defense like the Bears, who adjust in the second half, you're going to get tip balls and interceptions. And that's exactly what Bailey Zappi is going to give you. He's a great guy in a pinch. I think he's a good player. I don't want to disparage Bailey Zappi, but he's not a starting quarterback right now. Mac Jones is significantly more talented than him. And, if they run college principles like they were early on, it's not going to fucking work. So, I just think that whole story just has to be put to bed. The Pats are running with Mac Jones. They should be running with Mac Jones. They're 6-4 right now. And I do think this is a huge game for them. It's a big game for Mac Jones, okay? This is a primetime game on Thanksgiving. You have to play well. How about this, Joe? If Mac Jones doesn't play well tonight and then next week against the Bills, I think you'll start to hear some Bailey Zappi talk seriously again because I think people will be done with Mac Jones kind of the way the Jets are done with. Right now, it feels like Zach Wilson. I know Robert Saleh said saying he's not done, but for the love of God, I cannot imagine that dude is fucking playing for the Jets anytime soon. If he got benched, he's not going to be active this week, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, look, I'm going with the over in this game. I do think the Patriots can be able to score, and I think Minnesota is a horrendously bad defensive team. I think you can run the football with them. I think it's a perfect game for play action, and I think that's exactly where the Patriots are going to thrive tonight in that game. Run the ball with Stevenson and play action. I do think Minnesota covers at 2.5. That would be the way that I would lean, but I also think that you can make a case for the Pats at 3. 3.5 to me is a good number for the Pats. That's why I took it last week. I felt pretty comfortable with that. And at 2.5 to me, that's where I do like Minnesota there. I think, that 3 number there is to me, is the neutralizer. I like the 2 teams on the other side of the 3.
All right, Dan. I think that's it, man.
That's it. Then done some college basketball, World Cup. Yeah. Anything else you got? Oh, yeah.
What time you eating today?
So I'm going over to my grandmother's house at 1:30 today. She's not doing well. So we're not going to be there for too long today. We are coming back here and we are cleaning the house. My house is a shithole. We have not cleaned in a couple weeks. So we are eating, chilling for a little bit, and then coming on. We are cleaning. Photos on. It's going to be my big to-do today. Joe, what are you doing? What are your things? I know you're a massive Thanksgiving guy. What are your Thanksgiving plans?
Taking a ride to Central Massachusetts.
Nice.
Then I will be working Patriots post game tonight, Dan.
Oh wow! So are you coming back in the studio? You're doing.
I'm gonna come back. Well, I'm probably gonna watch the game at the studio.
Smart.
And then I'm gonna just bring some leftovers and maybe a pie. Letting loose today, Dan.
There are a million open restaurants in Waltham. I'll tell you that. I went to La Campagna last night. By the way. Very, very good. Very, very good. Yeah, went with some buddies. That was fun. La Campagna last night in Waltham. Shout out, it was fantastic.
When in doubt, the Kowloon is always open.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, absolutely, hallelujah.
It's open, and it's a great late night spot. All right, Dan. Let's thank you, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, 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 and we'll be back Saturday morning for our show. Thank you for the 28 people was the highest I saw tuning in, Dan. But
we had like 85 at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, at Twitter we had a lot. We had 17 YouTube watchers today.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
We had over 100 people.
Hey, all right, people woke up. All right, Dan, we gave out our picks, man. That's it. All right, this has been a live edition of the Over Under Podcast.
Who you got? Good luck.